Hi guys, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel and also to my kitchen. If you're new here, I love sharing gluten-free recipes as well as my life here on YouTube. I've been doing it for a very long time, but it is the second or third day of fall and I've just been craving everything related to fall. I want apple pie, I want soup, but it's still 80 degrees in LA, and so I had the idea to share the meals that I'm making that use those seasonal iconic fall produce and flavors while also not overheating, because I cannot make a soup right now. My kitchen is probably 85 degrees right now and I can't do it. I'm gonna be prepping a breakfast, lunch, dinner, granola, cookies, and a coffee syrup. So if any of those things interest you, just stay tuned and let's get cooking. The first thing I'm going to be making is spiced overnight oats with a stewed apple compote. And I know this is gonna be such a delicious breakfast that is both spicy and warming, but also not actually warm. I've made apple compote a million times, so I don't really have a recipe that I follow for it. I'm using about 1.5 apples because they will cook down. Medium-ish heat, just keep an eye on them. Now for our overnight oats, I don't have cute little jars. I just make mine in a large container and portion it out in the morning. I'm just using my usual recipe, which includes almond milk and some coconut yogurt, but you could use coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk, whole milk, whatever you like, and maple syrup. It's very simple. I'm spicing them with cinnamon, cardamom, and nutmeg so that they taste like an oatmeal cookie or apple pie. Our apples are still cooking their way down. I want them to be so soft that they're almost like applesauce and really sweet. Now onto our hearty quinoa salad with lots of different mix-ins and a really versatile dressing that I'm actually gonna use on both our lunch prep and dinner tonight. It's just Dijon, maple syrup, olive oil, salt, pepper, and some champagne vinegar. I'm also gonna start our quinoa in the rice cooker, which is my preferred method of making any grain. It just turns out perfect every time, and I think I'll make about 1/2 cup, which turns into about 1 cup of cooked quinoa. And then for mix-ins, I'm thinking celery and snap peas for crunch, raisins and apple for sweetness, walnuts for crunch, and chickpeas to add more protein, because I want this to be a really easy lunch that I can just eat throughout the week, and I think that that sounds great. I've made many quinoa salads, and I feel like the trick is usually to have some protein, some color, and definitely some variations in texture to make it interesting. Now, time to make tonight's dinner. I am making chicken thighs with sweet potatoes and a little side kale salad with the vinaigrette we made earlier, but the sweet potatoes take the longest to cook, so I just preheated the oven to 425, and I am gonna put those in there for at least 30 minutes before I put the chicken in. On the chicken, I'm using onion powder, garlic powder, rosemary, and a little bit of Greek seasoning, which has lemon peel and Turkish oregano. When I think of fall, I just think of very herby, roasted, baked chicken. I'm gonna place these in just for like 5 to 6 minutes to get some color before finishing them off in the oven. I'm also gonna tuck a couple shallot pieces in between just because I have some and I can, and it's so good. The sweet potatoes just came out of the oven, and now I'm gonna put the chicken in the oven. I'm gonna let the sweet potatoes cool while the chicken finishes cooking and make our little side salad. I just chopped the kale super fine. That way it is really easy to eat and absorbs the dressing nicely. I feel like a lot of people think they hate kale because it just requires a little bit of work to taste good, in my opinion. I also want to finish off these sweet potatoes by getting a little bit of color on them in a cast iron skillet with some butter. I'm really hoping for like a char. I just love that flavor. That is exactly what I had in mind when I said I wanted some char. That looks exceptional to me. Drizzling the shallots over top. I actually think this turned out even better than I expected, and I would highly, highly recommend making it. I also want to say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't heard of Squarespace, they are an all-in-one platform made for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. I've been using Squarespace for years to host my website, which I use as a landing page to learn about me as a content creator, but you can make a storefront, a blog, a newsletter, and so much more with Squarespace. They have thousands of website templates that are professionally designed and completely customizable to your specific needs. They also have built-in AI technology, which can be really helpful when just getting started or even writing website copy. And if you're a creator, they make it simple to monetize your content through the use of a paywall or a subscription service if that's something that you're interested in. Go to squarespace.com to get a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the code lindseyrem to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's the next day, and I had to give you an update on how our overnight oats turned out. I think I got pretty close to my inspiration, which is the overnight oats they sell at Community Goods, but making them at home is obviously so much more cost effective. They also top theirs with a cinnamon granola that has oats and pumpkin seeds. So I thought I might try and make something similar today that I can also eat with yogurt and just like use in a bunch of different ways, because I love granola and it's actually super easy to make at home. You can add dried fruits and whatever nuts that you like, whatever seasonings that you like, but I'm trying to make it very fall inspired, so I'm using pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and pumpkin pie spice. The recipe I'm following has you cook it for 15 minutes and then add your dried fruit and mix it before putting it back in the oven. And while that was in the oven, I made our pumpkin oat cookie dough, which I'm so excited to try. I'm hoping that these taste kind of like a mix between pumpkin bread and oatmeal cookies, which are two of my favorite fall desserts. And this recipe is from Minimalist Baker, who I really trust when it comes to the science of gluten-free baking, which can be a little bit difficult to figure out on your own. So I'm just gonna scoop that onto some parchment lined trays and bake it for 13 to 15 minutes. I kind of squished them on top because they were a little bit too round in the oven. I probably just should have flattened them before baking them, but here is a closer look. They're a very soft, fluffy cookie, which is honestly my favorite, and I slightly underbaked them, so they really do taste like pumpkin bread. And then with my leftover pumpkin puree, I just made a quick pumpkin spice coffee syrup with brown sugar, water, maple syrup, salt, and pumpkin pie spices. And the instructions were just to combine and let simmer over low heat for like 5 minutes. So I think it's done right on time with all of my other things. And it said, I think about 1 to 2 tablespoons mixed with your espresso and milk for a latte should be good. And I'm gonna wait till this cools, but it's just a little leftover jam jar from the farmer's market. It's like 4 p.m. Otherwise, I would make a latte right now, but I'll let you know tomorrow how it is because I am addicted to PSLs in the fall. I feel like there's something very satisfying about watching someone else meal prep, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want any of the recipes that I used, they will all be in the description box, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.